has to be there. You have to be able to accomplish the mission. And unfortunately, that means putting brave men and women in harm's way.
It's pretty incredible to see Israel's Iron Dome in action, its missile defense system. And, we don't have one of those here, but of course, President Trump has talked about this Golden Dome. We've got some specs on that we could share with our viewers as well. Do you know what the status on that is and what that could look like?
Well, the Golden Dome is a much different problem. Basically, you've got to be starting in space because you'd like to intercept these missiles coming up before they come down. Presumably, that would be with lasers and not with missiles, with a series of satellites orbiting. And then you have some ground-based interceptors at various locations. But, it's one thing to try to protect a smaller country like Israel. It's another thing to be able to protect the United States. And what we know is that the Chinese and the Russians have the capacity to launch missiles that could come at us from any direction, not just up the North Pole, but from the South Pole, coming over the Pacific from Mexico, for example, after going around the Earth. We also have a problem in the United States with something called electromagnetic pulse. The Iranians know this, the North Koreans know it. All it takes is a nuclear weapon in orbit going off over the United States, and it will blow out all transistors within hundreds of miles radius. So cars won't work, communications won't work, transportation won't work, anything with chips in it, unless it's protected by being inside, let's say, a microwave oven.
It would be crippling. It would be crippling for communication, for commerce, for all of that here. If you can talk a little bit more about modern warfare versus, the traditional warfare, like we think of these battleships, aircraft carriers coming into the region, bullets and bombs and missiles and nuclear weapons. But talk about, just technological warfare and other aspects of modern warfare that we need to be on alert about.
Well, first of all, we know that cyber is a domain of warfare. So if we can get inside the enemy's communication system or into his infrastructure, we can cause destruction of electric power. We can cause his communications to fail, obviously. We can cause missiles to blow up in space and so forth. So cyber, even though it's just bits and bytes, it has kinetic opportunities in terms of its effects. Then you've got the whole dimension of space. So space is good for communications. It's good for observation. But now we're moving into the domain where you can take out satellites with lasers and rockets from the ground. You can have satellites in orbit that can maneuver and capture an enemy satellite, or maybe blast it with a laser and take it out of commission. You can blow up a satellite and let other satellites run through the debris field and destroy them. And we're increasingly dependent on space for communications and surveillance. So that's another domain that we have to work with. And then, as I mentioned, the full U.S. infrastructure. That's our biggest vulnerability. We don't have the means to protect our electricity grid. We lose that electricity grid, we'll have millions of Americans die. There'll be no more food, there'll be no transportation, no communications. China knows it, Korea knows it, Iran knows it. It hasn't happened yet, and it's an urgent problem that the American leadership